सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। दयाकरं दयाकारं दान्तं धर्मप्रवर्तकं प्रणमामि दयानन्दं मदाचार्यवरं परम्। ॐ नमो भगवते वैवस्वताय मृत्यवे ब्रह्मविद्याचार्याय नचिकेतसे च। तां योगमिति मन्यन्ते स्थिरामिन्द्रियधारणाम् अप्रमत्तस्तदा भवति योगो हि प्रभवाप्ययौ। We saw what is meant by this. Tam yogamiti manyante. Yoga here, union. Union of what? The jiva with Ishvara. So jiva with Ishvara union is the point of what? Atma knowledge. And this is, for this understanding, this union is not a real union because there is no real separation. If there was a real separation, union would be warranted. There is no separation, so there is no real union, but there is a feeling of separation, and the feeling of separation is due to the self-ignorance. Self-ignorance removed, separation rests. Separation is not there anymore, and then still there is a feeling of separation. Why? Because of vasanas, orientations. The habitual orientations make one feel a sense of lack even though the knowledge is there in the heart. In the class there is no lack. In the class no loneliness. In the class no jealousy, no fear, no anger, no worry. But then while the Shravana is taking place, nothing happens. Afterwards and before is the problem. And this is because lifetime after lifetimes of habitual patterns, chronic patterns of self-judgment, self-loath, self-critique keep on overpowering, as it were, the knowledge. Like even the source of light, the sun, appears to be eclipsed twice a year. So the eclipse is not really an eclipse. It's an as-though shadow of the planet, as-though shadow, because of which the sun appears to be eclipsed. So similarly, this knowledge is not available to us when we need. In times of, when nothing is being disturbed, then everything is going well. In the class, in the ashram, etc. However, when one goes to the unreal world, that's what it is. Yeah. So when one goes to the unreal world of duality, multiplicity, this knowledge doesn't come when it is called. When does it come? Later on. Like, oh, why did I say this? Why was I so reactive? How could I have not done this? And how could I have done this? Later on all these thoughts come, but when it's the most needed, that knowledge is not available. Enter nididhyasana. That is the purpose of nididhyasana, is to make the knowledge available whenever I want. I should be able to recall the knowledge. Come here, where did you go? Come back, come back, come back. I have to be able to, that is called self-mastery, and that is called the union. The union here is not just of Jiva and Ishvara, of oneself, the Antahkarana and the knowledge. So Brahmajnanam is Brahman alone, so the union is, can be described as oneness with Brahman, but here it's from the standpoint of the knowledge. So my wrong knowledge has to be spirited away. For what does the Gita mean in verse 623? Gita says the third definition of yoga is dissociation from association with sorrow. What are the first two definitions? Samatvam yogaha uchyate, 248. Samatvam yogaha uchyate, 250. Yogaha karmasu kaushalam. So 248 says samatvam, equanimity in receiving the results of action, first definition of yoga. And then here karma yoga in the sense of discipline, not union. And then the second discipline is what? Karmasu kaushalam, the kushalata, the adept, being an adept in interpreting dharma, samanya dharma, in vishesha situations and as it pertains to oneself. So that interpretation of samanya dharma in specific situations as it pertains, and also as it pertains to oneself, is called yoga. And then what is the last definition of yoga? Dukkha samyoga viyoga is equal to yoga. Viyoga is yoga. Separation is union. Separation, how can it be union? Separation from unwanted things leads to union with desirable things. What are the unwanted things? Sorrow, etc. But how come I am associated with sorrow? Who wants sorrow? Raise their hand. Nobody is raising the hand. So that means what? I don't want sorrow, then, but I still am sad. That means there is an association with sorrow. How did this association happen? The mind is naturally goes from one thought to another like a leapfrogging being. The frog leaps, leaps, leaps. Similarly, the mind jumps, 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 and you think it's without rhyme or reason, but there is a reason, and the reason is in the unconscious mind. You don't know. Like that Alfred Hitchcock movie. There was one movie, and then there is this lady, whenever she sees red, she just goes crazy. Any color, any like red paint, red dress, apple, because it's red. Anything that is red, red rose, all this is just completely, she goes berserk, she goes mad, she just goes into this place of, you can't get her out of that place where she has retreated within. Her husband is at his wits' end, poor fellow. He cares about her a lot, but he doesn't know what to do. Then afterwards it's found out that she had witnessed the murder of her parents when she was a small toddler, when she was a very small baby. And that remained as aversion to red. You see what I am saying? So this is how, like, the association with sorrow, etc., comes because the mind goes from thought to thought, and we think it's without reason that she is afraid of red, but actually there is a reason. The reason is buried. And even if it's no reason, there is at least a rhyme. Without rhyme or reason, we cannot say there is a rhyme. Like that fellow who was going to settle his daughter's marriage, and he was going to the village of the groom to say, okay, all is set, they have liked each other, let us find a good date. As he was climbing into the train, there was one fellow outside the train station going back and forth selling bondas. You know bonda? Bonda is sometimes they make here. It is a fried snack, okay? Yeah, carby snack. So potatoes, some kind of potatoes dipped in, what is that called? Chickpea flour batter, and then deeply fried. Okay? So, bonda, bonda, bonda. He was just doing his job. He was just going from window to window, calling out his wares. Bonda, bonda. Now they have a little megaphone that's already recorded. Bonda, bonda, it will be broadcasting. They now know that we don't need to do this. We can use technology. So he would set foot in the train, and from far this bonda, but he heard it as bonda, don't go. Yeah. Oh, this is an omen. Something bad will happen. Maybe the groom is secretly crazy and nobody knows. And then he got off the train. And then he said, I'm being superstitious. I shouldn't do this. I should just get on the train. You know, I'm just being completely, my mind is playing tricks on me. With even more resolve, gets on the train. This time he actually sits down in his assigned seat. Bonda, bonda, and he hears it as what? Don't go, don't go, don't go. Again he gets off. So you see, there is a rhyme and a reason. So the rhyme is here. You know, between ponda and bonda, there is a rhyme, and the reason also sometimes is buried in the unconscious. So the mind veers towards sorrow. Why? Because it is familiar. It is not desirable, but it is familiar. Because that's what one is used to. This is what is called habitual orientation. And I have told you this before. Tell me any word and I'll make you sad in less than a minute. Promise. Yeah. Tell me any word and you will be instantly sad.
The magnolia flower.
Yeah. So sad. Why? Magnolia flower is a wonderful thing. Why is it so sad? Because this flower is got a curse on it according to a native story, an indigenous native story. It is actually, the magnolia was a princess who was in love with some prince or some commoner, and of course the royalty did not want them to come together, and then what? Chopped the father or somebody, some relative, chopped off both their heads of this young couple, and then Bhagavan took pity on her. I don't know what happened to him, but Bhagavan took pity on her and made her into a magnolia tree, where the old-fashioned magnolia tree, there are newer hybrid ones, but the old-fashioned one where the flower is too far to reach. So she is always protected. So she was into the magnolia tree. So sad. Yeah. So like this, anything you take, there can be a story, and we can easily go derailed and sad. We can easily get derailed and get angry. We can easily get derailed and get dissociated. We can easily get derailed and start suddenly feeling sick. You know, everything is going well. Oh, I think I'm coming down with a fever. And one believes it also. And sometimes the body obliges by spiking a fever. Yeah, that is all there. And so therefore, this dissociating practice of meditation / contemplation is very, very important, even in the non-meditative state. When the sorrowful thought comes, we keep a whole lot of full stops in a little drawstring bag, and then put it in your pocket. Then whenever the thought comes, oh no, 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 the spiraling is happening, I'm seeing it, one thought comes, oh, I don't think I'm good enough. Full stop. Take out a full stop and put the punctuation mark. Means what? Stop. Right there. No, but, and it continues. Stop, stop, stop. Oh, but it's in the middle of the sentence. Doesn't matter. Be grammatically wrong and put a full stop in the middle of the sentence. No problem. Here it is allowed. So, what is the secret to a successful nididhyasana? A bag full, a pocket full of full stops. Really? It's a foolproof method. And how to put this full stop is talked about here. Tam yogam iti manyante manishinah indriya dharanam sthiram indriya dharanam, the ability to hold the indriyas from flitting from thing to thing, the buddhi, the mind, as it was told in the previous verse also, that ability is itself called yoga. So when you put a full stop, you have done the bhanga, you have stopped that spell, and then what have you done? You have let that go. You have let that thought go. Now new, fresh. And don't manufacture the same thought again. New thought, fresh thought. If the same thought comes in a different guise, what do? Put another full stop. And when you do that in the meditative state, it is called nididhyasana, and that is basically what is talked about. Second line says how long to do it. Apramattaha tada bhavati. Tada means until which time you become apramattaha. Apramattaha means flawless in this practice. Pramada, mistake. Pramattaha, the one who has made mistakes. Apramattaha, the flawless one. So until the practice is flawless, you have to keep at it, keep at it, keep at it. All the Upanishads discussing nididhyasana use the word apramatta. So in the Mundakopanishad also, pranavo dhanuhu sharohi atma brahmatal-lakshyam uchyate. First line. Apramattena vedhavyam sharavat tanmayo bhavet. So there a nice imagery is given for the nididhyasana. Pranavaha means what? Omkar. Omkara. Pranavo dhanuhu. Pranava is the bow. Sharaha means what? Arrow. Sharaha atma. So Omkara is the bow, the Omkara upasana, the mantra is the bow, and the, what is that called? The arrow is what? Atma. And the little circle with the red dot, what is that? Lakshya Brahma. This Atma, Brahma. Atma has to join, so to speak, Brahma. And so, apramattena vedhavyam. Vedhavyam, pierce the target, which is Brahman, with the arrow, which is Atma, which is seemingly separate, but actually they are one, until this archery, this nididhyasana form of archery is mastered flawlessly. And so the flawlessness is highlighted in the practice because we are sloppy meditators. We are really sloppy meditators. One eye open, okay, who comes, who goes, okay, distracted easily. And if we are meditating by ourselves, what will we tell ourselves? I'll do it tomorrow. And what do we know about tomorrow? Never comes. Yeah, that's one thing we do know about tomorrow. It never comes. Tomorrow. Or I sit for half an hour, I tell myself only half an hour I can sit, and then somebody comes, and ding ding, all the devices are there, ding ding, they ring. And then, no, I will not respond to the message, but I won't even look at the message, I'll just see who the message is from. So, from here, you don't even take away the chin mudra, you just separate it a little bit and go like this. And keep the phone down like that, ulta. Why? Because I don't want to be disturbed. So if you look at it, then, oh, this could be important because this person is important in my life. Okay, I'll just read it, but I won't respond. And then you read it, and then what? It is some news which makes you agitated. I thought they were my friend. Who? How could they do this? And then what happened to apramatta? No, that practice is no longer a sacred practice, no longer a practice for training the mind, the heart, etc. So this apramattena vedhavyam in the Mundakopanishad, and here what is it? It is apramattena something. Apramattaha tada bhavati. So tada bhavati means bhavet. May one become apramattaha. It is not bhavati, it is bhavet. May one become. So apramattaha bhavet. May one become flawless in this practice. Why? Yogaha hi prabhava apyayav. The yoga itself, the practice, in this practice is itself is given to 2 steps forward and only 1 step backward. Are you sure? Yeah, 5 steps backward sometimes. Sometimes you don't feel like meditating at all. And you tell yourself, you drag the hands, you drag the feet, and then with one hand you make this come into Chin Mudra. And then in the same Chin Mudra you try without looking at without dropping that in the other hand. By the time you do one hand, the other hand is gone somewhere, and this hand is gone somewhere else. And you thought you were seated, but then you are walking around. Then you tell yourself, I'll do like the Buddhist walking meditation. Just walk and then be in touch with everything. 1 step forward, and then as soon as you put 1 step forward, your nemesis is approaching you on the ashram path. Why are they here? Again distracted. Why are they better than I am? Again distracted. All these things are there. So the yoga, meaning this attempt to quell the mind, this attempt to tranquilize the mind and the heart, is itself fraught with ups and downs. Therefore, you have to be flawless. Don't say meditation will make me flawless. You be flawless first and then enter into the meditative state. That is the idea of the mantra. After mantra, what do we do? Bhashya. So this is giving an advice. Okay, yeah. Tam idrishim avastham tat yogamiti manyante. Yeah. So idrishim sthitim. So this state in which the person is practicing, here you can use the word practicing dissociating from associating with various emotions and indriya pravritti, etc. This is called yoga. And Adi Shankara in his beautiful Bhashya says, Viyogameva Santam. This yoga is really what? Viyoga. We call it union, but what is it? Dissociation, conscious strategic disidentification. Because the word dissociation can mean other things. Psychological problems are also called dissociation. No. Here, conscious and strategic disidentification from the body-mind-sense complex is actually identification with Brahman. Do you see the difference now? Yeah. That is how it has to be, this mantra has to be read. Identification with Brahman is really, there is no union or identification because one is already what? Brahman. So basically, practice-wise, it is disidentification from the notion, I am the body, not disidentification, not dissociating from the body, disidentifying from the notion that I am this body alone. Disidentifying from Dehatma Buddhi, Manaha Aham Iti Buddhi. That's why all the composers have composed many verses on Nididhyasana. Like what? Mano Buddhi Ahankara Chittani Na Aham Nacha Shrotra Jihve Nacha Prana Grana Netre Nacha Vyoma Bhumihi Natejo Navayuhu. And so, this much is negation. Strategic, conscious disidentification. These are all Nididhyasana mantras. These are all Nididhyasana verses. And so, this conscious disidentification is what is needed. And so, that means you have to say, I am not the assemblage of the Antahkarana. Manaha, Buddhi, Ahankara, Chitta, I am not. and I am not the indriyas, nacha shrotra jihve, nacha grana netre, none of the indriyas I am, nor I am the conglomerate of the causes of these things, which are what? The 5 elements. Nacha vyoma, space, bhumi, what is bhumi? Earth. Na tejaha, fire, na vayuhu. And so therefore what? So if you stop there, it is dissociation. But thankfully we have the chorus. What is the chorus? Chidananda Rupaha Shivaha Aham Shivaha Aham. I am that. Shiva means pure. I am that pure one, not endowed, really speaking, with a body, mind, sense complex, free of the body. Body needs me. I don't need the body. This, keeping on seeing the truth of the verses of the Upanishad, is what is called yoga here, which is actually, as Adi Shankara puts it, is Viyoga. Sarvanartha Samyoga Viyoga Lakshana Hi Iyam Avastha Yoginah. So what is the definition of the yogi? What is it that the yogi has? The yogi has mastery, here called avastha. So the condition of mind that the yogi enjoys and has mastery over is not really yoga, but viyoga. What kind of viyoga? Sarva anartha samyoga viyoga. Sarva anartha, from a whole host of nonsensical identifications which cause sorrow. Artha means security. Anartha means, Abha, how late the answer came. Yeah. Anartha means insecurity. Artha means security, anartha negation of that. And so insecurity is what is insecurity? Insecurity is basically continuing with that samsara, which makes me go off on all tangents. I never feel enough. I never feel I have enough. I feel a sense of lack centered on the self. No matter what I do, I don't feel sufficient. I keep going here, going there, trying to get this, trying to get that, somehow be somewhere, anywhere where where I'm supposed to be. That is insecurity. And this is what is definition of samsara. A whole host of insecurity, financially insecure, and then what else? Emotionally insecure, physically insecure, mentally insecure, and then in terms of assets that one has, insecure, educationally insecure. So one comes to Vedanta with what? Artha or anartha? Anartha. And this anartha, this insecurity, makes one go in all kinds of tangents, trying to shore up that insecurity. Trying to shore up that insecurity, trying to overcome that insecurity. All the activities are there. And then so therefore, the association with all these activities, not association, the addiction, we should say samyoga is addiction. The addiction to all these activities is a problem, is called samsara, and here the de-addiction from the association with these activities is called is what makes one a yogi. Yoginah avastha. So the state of being a yogi is through a conscious de-addiction program. De-addiction program with relation to what? Things in samsara. Things in samsara become attractive because I feel insecure and I want to get rid of this insecurity. So things in samsara become attractive. But actually, sarva anartha samyoga viyogaha is yoga. So that is what is yoga. Etasyam hi avasthayam avidya adhyaropana varjitah swarupa pratishtha atma. Yeah. So why is this state of contemplation lauded? Why is that so much brought up again and again? the answer to that is given in this condition of the mind alone, which is free of the superimposition of Atma Avidya. Meaning what? The person has studied. So Atma Avidya is no longer superimposed upon the I, because Atma Avidya has been spirited away by Brahmakara Vritti, by the study of Vedanta. Atma Avidya is there or not? Gone. Atma Avidya is gone. By the grace of God, Atma and Guru, the Atma Avidya is gone. And this avastha, when the Atma Avidya is gone, Swarupa Pratishtha takes place. Abidance in oneself as that oceanic consciousness without a second naturally takes place, because it is one's nature. So all the superimpositions removed, avidya, kama, karma, everything you have to add. All of them removed, and where is the abidance? In the truth of the self alone. That alone is Atma. Sthiram, Indriyadharanam, Sthiram, Achalam, Indriyadharanam, yeah. Bhashya, Antahkarananam, Dharanam ityarthah. Yeah. So, Bhashyakarananam dharanam, Antahkarananam dharanam. Dharanam means holding. Holding, steady, sthira, achala, unmoving towards the objects which they objectify. And he also includes in the indriyas not just the organs of the senses, but also what? Karmendriyas. Starting with speech, very big, you can lash out. So we say the tongue is like a sword. There's a lot, tongue is like a whip. I gave a whipping to him with my tongue. People talk like this. So that means the tongue is capable of doing a lot of damage. And the karmendriyas also have to watch out. Watch out what the tongue says. Watch out what the hands and legs do. Because the hands and legs may take you somewhere where you don't want to go. So like this, the holding steady of the Bhashyendriyas, Bhashyakaranas and the Antahkarana also is what is called Dharana. Steady means what? Steadily dissociated from their objects. That is the idea. Steadily separated, steadily not focused on what they are good at doing, which is what? Habitually trying to milk the infinite out of the finite objects. That is what they are experts at, and they are not really experts because they fail each and every time, but this is what they are accustomed to, and so this is how they function. And the ability to snap that habitual connection between the indriyas and the objects of the indriyas which they blindly follow in order to bring back some security which the mind has ordered, all those synapses are cut, and therefore then there leads to the abidance. And then don't be complacent, Adi Shankara says, and the mantra also says, with one time abidance. Why? Apramattaha, pramada varjitaha, samadhanam prati, nityam yatnavan. Yeah. So, the apramattaha means nityam yatnavan, pramada varjitaha, samadhanam prati, yatnam kuryat. That's the idea. So, nityam means be vigilant, be very, very vigilant. Like even in a simple meditation, the mind goes away, and then when do you find out? After it has gone as far as South Africa. You say, how did this happen? I am sitting here in Rishikesh, in a small town, and then in an ashram, sitting here meditating. How did I go to South Africa? Nobody knows. But it happens, and only after going to South Africa and spending a nice holiday there, then only you say, oh my God, I have to come back. Therefore, this pramada is possible in all internal sadhanas. Pramada is possible. You fall down, you fall down, you fall down. That does not matter. What do you have to do? Get up. That's the idea. Uddharet atmana atmanam na atmanam avasadhayet. You get yourself up. Don't expect somebody else to come to tap on the shoulder. I think you're distracted from meditation. How will they know whether you are distracted or not? Who should know that you are distracted? You should know. And so when you know, even if it is late, because nothing is late, because you have the whole life ahead of you, even if it's supposedly late in this meditation, you say, oh, it's too far gone. No, bring it back. Oh, but I told myself I'll meditate for half an hour, only 2 minutes are left. Bring it back, even if there is only 1 second left. That is how one becomes flawless. That is how one attains mastery. Bring it back. When? Repeatedly bring it back, bring it back, bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. Falling is not the problem. It happens because there are orientations. If you did not fall, it would not be meditation. It would become samadhi. So here it's not samadhi, it is some kind of a meditation, contemplation. So he says samadhim prati. So you are headed towards that dissolution between the subject object and then the difference. But then in the moment, what do? Keep mastering the mind by bringing it back to the present whenever it goes away. Bring it back. That is how this apramatta, one becomes apramatta without mistake. So then, tada tasmin kale yada eva pravritta yogaha bhavati iti samarthyat avagamyate. Yeah. So there is yada tada. So tada here means when one has gained this mastery. That's all. That's all he is trying to say. When one has gained this mastery, tada means when one has gained this mastery. So tasmin kale means not one particular moment, but gradually. Tada tasmin kale means when one is when one enters into this, what happens? There is always this concentration. Always this concentration. So this vigilance, in which one is devoid of the exhaustion, mental exhaustion of having to bring this mind back. One is vigilant with regard to that also. And one more thing, one is vigilant with regard to hopelessness. What's the point? I brought the mind back 10 times. It still went the 11th time. No. You bring it back compassionately and repeatedly. This is what the Shastra says. Bring it back repeatedly. Repeatedly bring it back, compassionately, with self-compassion, bring it back. So there is pramada, apramatta means with alertness. With alertness alone, it can be repeatedly brought back. Nahi buddhyadi cheshta abhave pramada sambhava asti. Yeah. So the vigilance is necessitated. Why? Because in the absence of the activity of the buddhi, there is no carelessness possible. Buddhi has resolved into the I, and so there is no going and coming, there is no carelessness and mistakes possible. So in a way, one becomes flawless by mastery over the mind and the buddhi. And the mind and the buddhi themselves become flawless by this particular practice. Because without upasana, the knowledge will not sink in. It will always be shallow, like a ball in the water bobbing up and down. And so to fix this knowledge or to identify with this knowledge completely, nididhyasana is prescribed. So then tasmak nahi buddhi buddhyadi cheshta abhave. Cheshta abhave means when the buddhi and everything resolves, there is no cheshta movement. Pramada sambhavah na pramadasya sambhavah na asti. So there is no mistake, no problems. Why? There no carelessness, no non-vigilance, because the buddhi has resolved. Tasmat prageva buddhyadi cheshta uparamat apramadah vidhiyate. So when is this vigilance required? Before the buddhi becomes tame. Before the taming of the buddhi only the vigilance is required. Because once the buddhi is tamed, once the buddhi is mastered, then where are you going to be vigilant? Where are you going to say, I should not make a mistake? No mistake is possible because the buddhi is resolved. So then we can also take it another way. Ulta, Adi Shankara says, Athava yada eva indriyanam sthira dharana tadanim eva nirankusham apramattatvam ityatah abhidiyate apramattah tada bhavati iti. Yeah. Or it could be, let's look at both the pakshas again. First is vigilance is needed until the buddhi is tamed. Or it could be that when there is steady restraint over the senses, the practice of restraining the senses, then only there can be the buddhi minding the sense organs, and then only the steady vigilance is there. Vigilance is possible only when the witness, the buddhi as the witness is still there, and the buddhi is exercising witness over witnessing the sense organs and keeping them calm. Both the ways you can take it. In the one, the buddhi has no job, the buddhi has gone, and therefore there is no vigilance necessary, or the sense organs are tamed by what? The buddhi alone. So the mastery of the buddhi and the mastery of sense organs are mutually beneficial because they impact one another. And then what? Kuthaha yogaha hi yasmat prabhava apyayau upajana apaya dharmakau ityarthaha atah apaya pariharaya apramadah kartavyah iti abhiprayah. Yeah. So it could, kutaha means why. Why is it said that it should be a flawless practice? Because yasmat yogaha hi, the practice of yoga means what? The meditation / nididhyasana. That has a beginning and an end. Bhava, prabhava and apyaya. Upajana, apaya, same thing. Upajana, apaya, dharmakatvam asti. So, it has this quality of what? Starting and stopping. Because there is a time you say, I am going to sit in nididhyasana. And then after a while, you just get up and go. Meaning end of nididhyasana. So, nididhyasana as a practice has what? Finitude. And one day you have good nididhyasana. Another day, what do you have? Good sleep instead of nididhyasana. So therefore, the yoga here means practice. You see that, therefore we said at the beginning, what is the meaning of the word yoga? It means union in the first line, and in the second line it means the practice. Yeah. In the first line you have to say yujir yoge, and then you have to, in the second line you say yuj nirodhe. Second line, it's the practice. The practice is flawed. Why? Because it has a beginning, it has an end. Atma is Brahman. Does it have a beginning? No. Does it have an end? No. Atma is Brahman, we know that. But in order to see that and to abide in that, when I initiate a meditative life and a meditative practice, then there is a time I went into Nididhyasana, there is a time I came out of meditation. So therefore it has beginning and end and all the other graphs in between. Sometimes you go straight like this, you don't come up at all. Sometimes it's up, 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 and then suddenly down. Sometimes it is like the economy of many nations, going down, coming up little bit, going further down. That is how the practice is. So don't rely on the practice itself to become apramatta, because the practice is what? Flawed. So who is apramatta? You naturally are apramatta. Please understand that. Get an understanding of that, and then what will happen? Then you will become truly flawless in this understanding. So the practice yields the understanding. The practice is in the second line, and then that yoga here is the truth of the self in the first line, gained through the practice, which is called Nididhyasana. Kartavyah iti abhiprayah. Okay, that finishes that. So dharmakah iti abhiprayah. Buddhyadi cheshta vishayam chet brahma idam tad iti visheshatah grihyeta buddhyadi uparamecha grahana karana abhavat anupalabhyamanam nasti iti eva brahma. Now, if we have understood the last two mantras, we have a slight problem. What is the problem? Tame the buddhi. And we were told, tame the sense organs. Why? In order to be able to understand what? Brahman. But then the person's experience of Nididhyasana is what? Is that it cannot be apprehended. The person's experience in the Nididhyasana is Brahman cannot be caught. Brahman cannot be caught owing to what? Owing to the fact that it is not an object. But how is the meditator understanding it? The meditator is getting panicked. You are asking me to resolve the buddhi, cessation of buddhi, cessation of mind, cessation of some sense organs. And then what? And manasa eva idam attavyam. Through the mind alone this has to be understood. It was said. And then so therefore there is a contradiction. If the buddhi is sleeping and then you give upadesha tattvamasi, how will it understand? And if Brahman cannot be apprehended by the buddhi, maybe we are on the wrong track. What is the possibility? It ain't there. There is no Brahman. Why? Because in Nididhyasana there is nothing. No Brahman, no nothing. So perhaps it is not there. Adi Shankara raises an objection from the Nastika, Nastivadinaha. So Astika means the one who says Brahma Asti, the one who accepts the authority of the Veda as something that is a trust pending understanding, which is Shraddha. So the one who has Shraddha in Vedanta, that this is for my benefit and this is going to help me, that person is called Astika. The one who says that there is what will it do for me? My mind is enough. I will figure out Brahman, is called Nastika. So we have Astika darshanas and we have Nastika darshanas. Darshana means what? Not darshan. Darshana here means matas. That didn't help. So what is mata? Points of view. Various philosophical points of view. Like Charvaka. Astika or Nastika? Nastika. Nayayika? Nastika. Vaisheshika, the cousin of Nayayika. Nastika. Bauddha? Nastika. These are all Nastika darshanas. That's meaning there is nothing there. What Brahman? Nothing. They don't. Brahman is there because Veda is there. If I don't even accept the Veda, what Brahman can be there? So, Adi Shankara, it's not a full-fledged Purva Paksha, but kind of raises this point. And what is that point? The point is, Buddhi Uparame, Buddhyadi Uparame, Grahana Karana Abhavat. When the Buddhi, your Brahman, you say should be known in the Buddhi. And what are you telling the Buddhi? You are singing the Buddhi a lullaby. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. You are rocking it to sleep. You are asking it to resolve. You are asking the sense organs to resolve. So, Karana Abhavat, Jagat Karanam Brahma cannot be apprehended. And if it cannot be apprehended, what does it mean? Maybe it is not there. That's why you are putting the Buddhi to sleep by saying do Nitidhyasana. Why? Because there is nothing there to see. It's like a peeling of the onion. You peel the onion, one more layer comes out, one more layer comes out, one more layer comes out. Inside what is there? Nothing. Nothing other than the peeler. Who is the peeler? You. Okay, the most appealing one. Okay, according to the Shastra. And so, therefore, Buddhyadi Uparame Grahana Karana Abhavat, because of there is no, owing to the cessation of the Buddhi, etc., there is the absence of cognition is there, and then that means what? Then if there is no cognition, the absence of the function of the intellect, there is absence of cognition of Brahman, that means what? Brahma nasti iti eva. Must be not existent. And so, further, Yadhi Karana Gocharam Tadasti iti Prasiddham Loke Viparitam cha asat iti Ataha cha Anarthako Yogaha. So, what is, because why is this talked about? Why is this conclusion come to? Because it is well known in common, what is that? Among the masses, among the common masses who haven't studied Vedanta, it is Loke Prasiddham. What is Prasiddham Loke? That Yad Karna Gocharam Tat Asti. So whatever is grasped by the intellect and the karanas such as indriyas, etc., that means it exists. So the existence of pot, how is it ratified? By the eyes. The existence of thought is ratified by watching the mind. So the existence of cloth, pot, this, that, tree is all through the indriya vyapara, through the activities of the mind, the intellect and the sense organs. Now, this is what is known in the world. So then when something, tad viparitam, what is the viparita of this? Whatever cannot be objectified is non-existent. Whatever cannot be, so whatever is not karana gocharam or anumana gochara. See, like black hole, cannot be objectified directly, but it is anumiyate. It is understood through inference. So that means it exists. But certain other things like God. What is Ishvara? Nobody knows. And where is Ishvara? Nobody knows. And so therefore you can have a mata, you can have a darshana that says God does not exist. So that so like this, whatever is not easily identifiable by the sense organ is said to not exist. And if that is the case, the anarthakaha yogaha, the practice of meditation will become useless. It will be totally useless. And then and therefore what? So if the practice of meditation is nididhyasana is useless, then therefore what? Brahman should be known to be non-existent because it is not cognizable. It is non-existent because it is non-cognizable. So iti prapte pakshe, if this kind of a what is that, objection is mounted, the response should come in the next verse. So let us finish reading this. Anupalabhyamanatvat va nasti iti upalabdhavyam brahma iti evam prapte idam uchyate. So idam uchyate satyam. So therefore the correct reply should be given as such. Why? Anupalabhya manatvad, because it is not seen as existent, and therefore it is not cognized. Either way, it's not cognized, therefore it is not non-existent, or it is non-existent, therefore it is not cognized. It's the same thing. Okay, 6 of one, half a dozen of another. So in either way, nasti iti upalabdhavyam brahma. Brahman must be seen as non-existent. Iti prapte. If somebody concludes like this wrongly, idam uchyate. This, the reply should be given satyam, meaning, yeah, true if you think like this, but really speaking, this is the Brahman is not an object of the what? Sense organs or the mind. Naiva vacha na manasa praptum shakyo na chakshusha asti iti bruvatoonyatra katham tadupalabhyate. So this which cannot be, this is which this Brahman, which is karana agochara, indriya agochara, buddhi agochara, and then that which is not an object of the mind, of the buddhi, of the sense organs, if you conclude it does not exist, then that means what? You don't have the right attitude, because all the things that are existent are because of that whose existence cannot be cognized by the mind, etc. So we'll see, because this is a beautiful verse. The next two verses, beautiful verses. The first verse which we just chanted has to do with Shraddha, and the second verse has to do with the Sat portion, Satyam portion of Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. We'll see in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari